and welcome to the gun shop. About scopes. Turn around. One hand. You bought your first day shooting. I'm going to talk you through what generally a day's worth of shooting is going to be like. So, yeah, you wake up in the morning, usually about an hour early because it is more exciting than Christmas. Most people won't believe me until you wake up, and even if you've gone up the night before, potentially had some drinks, you'll wake up fresh as a daisy and ready to rock. You will not have a hangover, you will not be tired, you will just be pure adrenaline, happiness, buzz. You'll get dressed in your clothing of choice, generally tweed, but you know, some people choose other options. On less formal days, like I say, it's probably less important. You'll get dressed, you'll look in the mirror, you'll take a few selfies. You'll then go down to breakfast at your hotel, or you'll get in your car. You'll load up, you'll check through all of your gear. Always check your gear. Make sure you've got a gun that works. Not necessarily if you're borrowing a gun. Make sure you've got cartridges, ammunition choice, very important. Make sure you've got cash. Cash is also good. And make sure you've got all of the kit you need for the day. Your phone is charged, your car's got fuel in it, and you're not going to ruin your day through any unfortunate and small issues. You'll get in your car and you'll go to the shoot. You'll meet at the shoot lodge, the shoot hut, maybe a beater's room. The dog's gone. And there you'll might feel a bit awkward if you don't know anyone. If you know someone, you'll get out the car. You'll get out the car and you'll see the other guns. The keeper, the shoot manager, somebody will come and greet you. You'll be greeted and you'll be taken in for a coffee, potentially, maybe a tot of port, little glass of port, and you'll enjoy yourself on that, certainly. Maybe a bacon roll. A lot of places will do breakfast, but breakfast is never too big an occasion. It will be a nice bacon sandwich or something small. Nobody wants to be on a full English fry-up when they're going out shooting, feeling a bit bogged down, because it's going to totally cramp your mood that you've woken up and you're on this immense high. You'll get your coffee, you're going to be buzzing a little bit more, ready to get on peg for that first drive. But to be able to get on peg, you need to choose pegs. Choosing pegs on a game shoot, you will be sat there and each gun will have a number. Each little stand, so when you stood in a valley, there'll be pegs in the ground. So called because they are literally a piece of wood, generally speaking, although I've seen some much nicer ones, a piece of wood with a little number stapled to it or drawn in it or something like this. This is where you stand for your drive, and these have been positioned through years of experience from the keeper or the shoot manager or whoever decided where to put them, in the places that are going to be best when the birds are flush from the covers. Post this, it will either be on the bottom of your glass when you drink, or there'll be some way of choosing. You'll choose and you'll know your number. Let's say you pick number 3, isn't that great? You then know, and it will be made quite clear to you during the shoot. You'll then probably receive a shoot brief. Sorry, I missed that. You'll receive a shoot brief. The shoot brief will tell you, generally, everyone have a nice day, don't shoot any low birds, be safe, continue to be safe. Whether you can shoot ground game or not, whether you can shoot grey partridge or not, whether you can shoot woodcock or not, what is actually on the menu for the day, what you can shoot. They'll also give you a lowdown. They'll say we're doing 4 drives, 5 drives, we're stopping for lunch after the 3rd drive, and they'll just keep you a little bit more informed about the day. What they'll also say is we're going to be moving up 2 or moving down 3. This generally refers to pegs. So you'll shoot the first drive on 3, and let's say when you move up 2, that will go 3, 4, 5. And then for the next drive, you'll be on 5. For the drive after, you'll be on 7. And the drive after, you'll be back on 1 if there's 8 guns. And so on and so forth. Sometimes move down 3, sometimes up 3. Generally speaking, it doesn't matter how many you move up or down. It will be an enjoyable day for you. You will be in the centre. You'll be in the hotspot for 1 drive, if not more. Depends on how lucky you are, whether you wore your lucky hat, your lucky socks, or whatever. That is the morning. After that, you'll get told to load up. You'll get in your truck or in a shoot bus. Some shoots will have a communal wagon. You will all sit in together with your guns, hoping that it's nice weather. You won't be all wet and huddled together, and there's generally a bit of port and stuff flying around there. And you get to your first peg. You'll get out on your first peg, peg 3. You'll be stood looking at a woodland. You'll wait, so you'll either be told you're alive on peg, which means that as soon as you are placed on your peg, you put cartridge in your gun because the pheasants might bust out the woodland, and it would be a shame if you didn't have a shot at them. However, on most shoots, I don't know, actually, that's a lie. On various shoots, I'd probably be interested to do a poll on that, whether you are live on a peg or whether you are live on the whistle. Live on the whistle, and this will be said in the shoot brief, whether you are or not, either of these options, means you get on your peg, a whistle is blown, and when the whistle is blown, you can start shooting. You load your gun, you close your gun, and you start shooting. And then that drive will also be ended, and generally all drives are ended on a whistle. A long blow on a whistle or 2 blows on a whistle will end the drive, and you will put your gun, break your gun, take cartridge out your gun, put them in your pocket, and put the gun away. So, you're stood on peg, the whistle blows, you take your 2 cartridges, you put them in the gun, you close the gun, you point it in the air. Remembering that when you are stood there on your peg, you are not, you make sure you know where your left gun is and your right gun is. That's quite important, certainly, to know that, for safety more than anything, but also because it's really generally very bloody rude to steal other people's birds, until they've had a shot at them at least, and that is called wiping someone's eye when you hit it. When they shoot at a bird with both barrels, preferably, let them have another go at it. If they miss it and you, then it sort of becomes fair game. If you think you can hit it and shoot it, hit it, and you kill it, that is called wiping their eye. However, it's generally considered really bad practice, and don't do it if you don't know them, because some people get really aggy if you start killing their birds, regardless of whether they've missed them or not, because it's just not very sportsmanlike. However, some shoots where the birds aren't so high, it's worth having a chat with your neighbours and saying, is it okay if I shoot yours and you shoot mine? Because if a bird is above your head 15 to 25 yards, perfectly safe for them to shoot, but not entirely, that is a low bird. You're not going to blow it to bits, however, it's not going to make anybody's day shooting that pheasant. And you can shoot it from next door and it's suddenly now a 40-yard bird. I think it's perfectly fair game. As long as you've had that little chat beforehand, then it is okay. However, for the purposes of this, don't do that. You have an arc in front of you of 45 degrees. Anything coming inside of that arc is fair game. Do not shoot to your right or your left, because you're going to annoy somebody, and potentially it's dangerous because swinging through the line. It's fine if the bird's up high, however, if it's below 45 degrees, just don't do it. If the bird doesn't have blue sky behind it, just don't do it. And with all these things rushing around your head, it becomes second nature after a while, but with all these things rushing at your head, this is what will screw up your first drive ever. You'll stand there, the bird will come out, you'll go, oh, do I, don't I, is it safe, is it a pheasant, is it a pigeon, I don't really know, I can't see for the tears running down my face through excitement. You'll flick the safety off, you'll have a go at it, hopefully you'll hit it, and you'll shoot your first pheasant of the day. And that was your first drive over. So the whistle's gone, you break your gun, take the 2 cartridges out, you put them back in your cartridge bag. Cartridge bag is something you should probably take with you as an equipment thing. Put the gun halfway in the slip, close the gun, put it in. Safety is paramount. Safety is paramount, that is all. You put the gun back on your shoulder and the guns will start to meander back to the trucks in general, wherever they're parked, or the gun bus, wherever that's parked. At which point you have a chat with your neighbours, who are the first people you'll meet. Either one will walk to you or you'll walk to the other one. You have a chat and you say, cracking bird, absolutely brilliant bird. Even if you didn't see him hit one, it's probably quite polite to say, no, you definitely had that one. I didn't shoot that, it was ours. Especially if one flew between you, give it to them. Especially if you don't know them, unless you know it was you, and they're polite too. But you can be quite honest. However, sometimes it's okay to be a little bit round nosy on a shoot day, and it's all about saying, saw you shoot a cracking one there, because you're there to have a good day. You're there to shoot some good pheasants and have some good sport. That is what it's all about. And you talk about birds. You say, did you see that one I shot? Don't talk about yourself too much. Nobody wants to hear it, to be honest. Everyone wants to have their back packed, and someone else will pat your back in return. It's kind of a nice thing. People all watch each other shoot, because you've got to remember, birds aren't flying over all 8 guns, 10 guns at the same time. Someone will be watching you shoot at some point during that drive. So, going back to the thing, don't do anything safe or stupid, because somebody is always watching you. The end. So, you get back in your trucks and you go then to the second drive, and you'll be chatting on the way there, excited about what drive you're doing. Someone who's shot there before might be able to tell you what it's like and where you're about and what peg you are. You'll get out the truck, and then you'll be placed back on peg. Someone will always take you to your peg, or at least point it out with damn clear instruction, because nobody wants someone wandering around the estate with a gun, potentially during the next drive, and just meandering with a shotgun. It's great fun, don't get me wrong. However, probably not best when you're there supposed to be stood on a peg. So you'll be getting to peg, and it will go much the same as the first drive. The whistle will go, you'll get your gun, you'll shoot some pheasants, hopefully. For a quick note, on any drive, unless you're told otherwise, and generally speaking even so, it's just a bit rude. Do not shoot at anything but a game bird until the first game bird has been shot at on that drive. So if you're sat there on a drive and a few pigeons fly over because you've just clocked the gun, the whistle's blown, the whistle scared some pigeons out of a tree, do not shoot at them. It's just bad habit. Rather get a bollocking for not shooting at something than shooting at the wrong thing. Plus, you're there to shoot pheasants. You're paying maybe up to £50 a bird, including that. Probably not a good idea to shoot a pigeon for 50 quid when you could go and shoot pigeons for a full day for 50 quid and shoot 100 of the damn things. It's probably more intelligent to save that for partridges, pheasants, woodcock if you can, more interesting species. So you sat there on the second peg, on your second peg of the day. It's peg number 7, for example, if you're on 3. No, you're on 5, because you're on 3, we're moving up 2. We're on peg 5. On the second drive of the day, you stood there, the whistle's gone, you close your gun, you go bang, bang, hopefully shoot a left and a right. A left and a right is where you shoot one bird with the first barrel, and then immediately go bang with the second barrel. Called a left and right because when you used to use side by side, most people now shoot game with an over and under, unfortunately, up to and including myself. It used to be a case of one with the left barrel, bang, one with the right barrel, bang. Left and a right. Doesn't quite sound right when you say over and under pheasants. It's a left and a right at pheasants. So bang bang, hopefully you shot your first left and right. You shot your first pheasant on the first drive. Now you shot your first left and right because you are a game shooting champion now. So, drive over, whistle's blown, you're really happy with yourself, you walk over with a massive smug grin to the guy next door who then claims the bird you shot, and you go, no, that's fine, because you know that you shot that bird, and sometimes it's better to just know that you're right, and you do know when you hit something and somebody didn't, it's just something that happens. And a gracious person will go, we both got that, even if you didn't, it's nice. So, you've put your gun back in your bag, you go back to the gun bus, but this time you don't actually go anywhere. Sometimes you do, you might go to a hut somewhere, you might go to a nice clean, but sometimes they'll just drop the back of a Range Rover and you'll be served something called elevenses. This is your first shoot elevenses, potentially. It is a life-changing experience. Pork pies, mustard, bit of cake, hot sausages with honey and mustard dressing. Oh, lovely. A bit of soup. Oh, it's lovely. It is the best sort of thing. It's an unnecessary meal made of all your favourite things, sat on the back of a Range Rover in the countryside with your gun leant against the truck. It's just one of those smile-inducing situations that will fill you with joy for years to come. And when I'm 80, sat in a bed, and not really capable of doing it anymore, I can look back and think of all those lovely elevenses I've had when I'm eating my lunch through a straw. So, elevenses over. You get back in the truck, and you go for the third drive of the day. Third drive of the day is usually when someone will put out either a killing drive or a show drive. A killing drive is a drive where you will try and get the majority of your bag in the bag. Your first drive will generally be a little warm-up drive. You're not going to see quite so many birds as your other drives, but it's just a nice drive where you'll see some nice birds and you'll be able to kill a couple of good average pheasants. Your second drive will be much the same, just an average drive really. They'll show you some nice birds. The third drive is when they will start to gear something up. Everyone's had a few drinks, they're a bit more relaxed. Do not consume alcohol while using a gun. I cannot condone it, although it happens, apparently. So, you're there, you've had a few drinks, you've got your gun, and you've shot some quite reasonable pheasants. Now you're on your third drive, you're feeling like you're ready to go. So they're going to start showing you some slightly better birds. So they're either going to show you, and this is not by any standard the truth or by any guarantee, however, this is generally how it goes. Your third or fourth drive will be the large drive, their show drive. They will produce some pheasants, and some show drives produce almost unhittable pheasants. But it's nice to test yourself. You don't get better by shooting 25-yard pheasants, 30-yard pheasants every day of the week. A 40, 50-yard pheasant is a really very good pheasant. And I think that we've got another video where we shoot a pheasant target at 50 yards and show quite how hard it is to actually consistently kill a pheasant at 50 yards. It takes some serious skill. So, you're out, you're shooting this big drive, you're having a lovely time, the whistle goes, and they go, alright, now what we're going to do is... You've probably shot a little bit more than you should have because everyone's excited. It's quite an early day in the season. It's your first day and a few others potentially, so you're all a bit excited. You've been shooting lots of birds, probably being a little bit less selective than you should have. Being selective is an art. Unfortunately, it takes years to perfect, and even then people still slip up. It's really not an issue, to be fair. So they go, all right, so what we're actually going to do now is we're going to have lunch now after the third drive because we're on 150 bird day and you've shot 123. And you've done a great job, guys. You've shot some lovely pheasants. That's great. We'll go and have lunch. So you'll go back maybe to the big house if it's on an older estate, to the farmhouse on a slightly smaller shoot, or maybe just even the beaters hut on a really informal day. Although that's not a bad thing. It's nice to mingle with the beaters. The beaters are the guys with the flags. Who's with the pickers up? The pickers up are the guys with the dogs that stand behind you and pick up all your birds. Should have chucked that bit of terminology in earlier, just not to confuse things. You sit. On this day, we went back to a nice shoot lodge with some lovely glass windows overlooking the lake and the estate in some mythical castle land. Isn't it lovely? You sat there. Generally, they'll serve you some sort of game bird thing, or beef, or venison. But it's becoming more fashionable now to eat game, and most shoots now will have a chef or a cook that is capable of cooking game to not perfection per se, but near as damn it. You'll have a lovely, lovely dinner. You'll eat lots, you'll have a couple of bottles of wine between the guns, and you'll just have a great lunch. After that, nobody really ever wants to shoot the last drive because you're all full and you've been sat there for an hour and a half. The beaters have probably been out there for the last hour of it waiting for you to finish dinner, but you've all been having such a good chin wag that you're just not really ready to go back out into the rain because it started raining, obviously. So you finish lunch, you go out to your car, you get back in, and then they'll give you the last drive of the day, which is always a nice drive. They might give you another drive. You might have shot 5 drives, 4 drives, 6 drives, 7 drives, 3 drives. It doesn't really matter how many, but there's usually an elevenses and a lunch at some point during the day. Whether there's something called shooting through, where you'll shoot all the way through the day and have your lunch at the end, which is kind of preferable because by the time you sit down for lunch and you've sat down for an hour and had lunch, you're usually ready to stay there for the rest of the evening, to be quite honest. So, you then shoot your last drive of the day. That's it. You put your gun back in the thing, you put your gun back in the car. At this point, this is the part of the day that isn't the most important, however, is then you say goodbye to everybody. You thank you all the other guns, perhaps you go to the pub afterwards with them, but you make these arrangements at this point. Nobody wants to have pre-planned ideas of what you're going to do after the shoot day, because, if you haven't had a great day, last thing you want to do is all be sat at the pub because you're committed to go to the pub grumbling about what a bad day you've had. Potentially, well, I don't really see such a bad thing. A disappointing day, certainly, but maybe not a bad day. Bad days, game shootings don't really exist, but disappointing days do. At this point, then you have to tip the keeper. The gamekeeper is the person who looks after all the pheasants. They're generally, what this part is all about is giving them a thank you for their hard work on the day. The beaters are all paid their bit and they get the shoot at the end of the season. What he does is, this is his job, this is the test of his mettle, this is what he's been working the last year for, is your shoot day and all the shoot days, this is what he is judged upon. Tipping the keeper is a traditional thing. Tipping is a hard thing to judge an amount on. So, I won't even get into it because it's such a messy subject. Not a fiver, probably not a tenner. Probably those £20 is sort of the minimum tip that I would generally consider giving to a keeper. Give it to him nice and subtly, fold it up in your hand, give him a nice handshake, say thank you very much, I've had a great day. If you haven't, probably don't be honest with him because you're going to get a thump in the mouth. Like I said, you've probably had a good day's game shooting. There's not such a thing as a bad thing. And if it's your first day, you'll have had an absolutely brilliant day. Even if you've only shot 1 pheasant and shot 100 cartridges, you've had a good day. You've had a brilliant day because it's your first day. It's a learning curve. You tip the keeper. You go to the pub. You have a lovely time. You drop your gun somewhere secure before you go to the pub because that is definitely recommended. You take them home, or if you're staying at a B&B or a hotel with a gun locker, put them in there. Put your gun somewhere safe and go and have a lovely evening. Chat about the birds you shot, and that was your first shoot day.